Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to 40k 8th edition and welcome to Morgan's Reach, a hive world in the Acheron sector, which is defended by my Imperial Guard regiment, the Cadian 404th. Unfortunately, Morgan's Reach is under attack by a Tyranid hive fleet, or at least it will be very, very shortly. Out here, we're in the wasteland, leading up to one of the big hive cities. We've got a kind of dirt road leading up through here, where there's sort of crossroads type thing. I don't have any fancy road scenery, I'm afraid, so this is the best we can do. But leading up through here, and very shortly, a convoy of tanks and infantry is going to be coming up through this little burg here, and they're going to be meeting that barricade up there, which was not part of the plan. We don't know why that barricade's there. Well, the reason is because the Tyranid Vanguard is here. The Gene Stealer cult has arisen as the Hive Fleet is arriving, and the Vanguard organisms of the Hive Fleet itself are going to be dropping from the skies as well. Joining me today on the channel is Dan.
Hello.
Hello. You brought, is it Hive Fleet Goliath? Did I remember that?
Goliath.
Yes.
Is the name of my Hive Fleet, yes.
I remembered it correctly, yes. It's a great name for a Hive Fleet, actually, that, by the way. Like, well done. I've got a Nid army, haven't thought of a name for it yet. Goliath is much better than the ones I was thinking of, so... Anyway, shame I don't have any characters on the table called David, because then we could make biblical jokes.
We could indeed.
We could, but we're not going to, because that would be daft. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be another narrative battle. It's going to be an ambush. The Gene Stealer cult and their Tyranid allies coming down from the skies are going to be descending on this convoy, and they're going to hopefully try and survive. The mission goal essentially is going to be, I need to get as many of my guys off the end of the table as I possibly can. If a third of my power level in total of the army manages to make it off the table, I score a victory. If that is not the case, then Dan scores a victory instead. And you'll note here as well, we've got this big barricade in the way. That is going to be something we can interact with. That is basically, I think we went with toughness 7, 10 wounds, 4 up save. Yep. So I can try and blow it to bits with some heavy firepower to get it out of my way so I can get my vehicles through, but otherwise it's going to be there, it's going to be a barricade, it's going to be in the way, and it's going to be very annoying. But I figured, you know, if you're going to set up an ambush here, Gene Stealer cult, you know, they've come in, they've got some cranes and stuff, they've moved all of this stuff into the way. I think it's great. The convoy is going to drive up, they're going to stop, they're going to ask what the heck is going on, and then suddenly bad things will happen. So that's the plan, ladies and gentlemen. So, without further ado, let's go and have a look at the armies, starting with 1750 points of my Imperial Guard. Okay, so this is 1748 points of Imperial Guard. It is 2 battalion detachments and a spearhead as well, so it's 14 command points if my maths is at least vaguely competent. It is mostly infantry based, as you can see. I've tried to lay off the tanks as much as possible. We do have 2 Lehman Russ tanks though. Commander Hannibal is making a return. Today he's going to be using the Knight Commander Pask rules. It's mostly because I was actually a bit short on points when I was putting this level list together. I needed to add some somewhere, so I just transformed him from a regular tank commander into Pask. He is still lacking his sponsons because I've actually lost the sponson weapons. I can't remember where I put them, so he's just going without today again. But he is going to be accounts as Pask for today's purposes. We've also got a regular tank, a regular Lehman Russ tank, and I think it's 5 infantry squads here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe it's 6 then. Hang on a second. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no. 5 plus we've got a squad of Kazakin. Now Kazakin unfortunately don't have rules anymore, but these guys are, these were the, once upon a time they were the elite troops of Cadia. They're called Kazakin because they're recruited from the what used to exist. The place is toast now, but the big cities on Cadia which were called Kazas. And these guys basically now, I'm essentially just running them as Tempesta Scions, which means that they won't be getting the Cadian benefits. The whole force is running with Cadian tactics, obviously, because they are Cadians. But they won't be getting the Cadian benefits. They won't be removing the benefits from the rest of the army either, because they're auxilia, technically. Same with the Ogryns, for example, over there, which today are going to be Bulgrins. So they've got the big slab shield and they've got the big shock mauls. I've also got a squad of veterans, so they've got 2 melters and a plasma gun. And what else do we have? We've got one little command squad, which doesn't include the regimental banner today because, well, there's one regimental banner in this entire regiment. That's the way I like to play it, and that regimental banner is elsewhere right now. I imagine that's with the colonel. He's elsewhere at the moment because this army today is led by Major Lasky, who's up here. She's going to be leading this force today. The colonel, I imagine, is back in the Hive Spire, coordinating the defence and stuff, whereas she's out here rounding up all of these reinforcements, heading back there. So we've got a bunch of characters up here because I've got a bunch of detachments, which means lots of HQ stuff. So we've got Lasky herself there. She's got a power sword and a las pistol. I am going to spend an extra command point to give me an extra relic, because I'm going to be using 2 relics in this army. And she's going to have the Sword of Conquest, I believe it's called. Putting a really cool power sword weapon on an Imperial Guard commander is usually a waste of time, but I'm going to do it because it's cool. And next to her we've got Captain Perkins with his shotgun, and at the back we've got the old Tech Priest Engine Seer you might remember from the Battle of the Boneyard. He's still missing his trusty servo skull because that commissar chopped it off. That's the story and I'm sticking to it. Speaking of commissars, we've got a Lord Commissar as well with a power sword and bolt pistol. And we have this guy I painted up specially. He's an Ogryn bodyguard. His name is Bertram Fortescue, gentleman Ogryn adventurer extraordinaire. He's armed with a slab shield and a power maul, shock maul thing. I just modelled it to look like a thunder hammer because it's cool. And he has got the relic called the Death Mask of Alanius, which gives him a 4+ invulnerable save. Now this is something that's pretty dirty, but I don't think it's that great anyway necessarily. It's just one hilarious invincible Ogryn running around. I don't know what he can actually accomplish, especially since I'm going to be kind of role-playing him so that he sticks close to the commander at all times, because he's an Ogryn and that's what he would do. But basically, he's got the Death Mask of Alanius, which gives him a 4+ invulnerable save. Once per battle, he can regain D3 mortal wounds. Well, D3 wounds. Mortal wounds are neither here nor there. But because he's got a slab shield, and this is rules as written, and I've double-checked with FAQs for this and stuff like that, it seems to be a bit of a weird loophole, but GW just have not done anything about it. But the rules for the brute shield, the slab shield, sorry, not the brute shield, the slab shield, allow you to add 2 to any saves the model makes. That includes invulnerable saves, so basically he's got a 2+ invulnerable save, which is ridiculous. So there is going to be like this one potentially indestructible Ogryn running around. I really just desperately wanted to try this out because I think it might be just a recipe for comedy if nothing else. Because he doesn't kick out necessarily a whole heap of damage with his shock maul thing. He's just a bit of a tank essentially. And what he'll be doing as well is just he can take mortal wounds off of. He can intercept wounds on nearby characters on a 3+ as well. So that's probably how he'll end up dying, if anything, is he'll be intercepting wounds all the time. I think that's it. What else have we got? 2 heavy weapons teams. I'm running them as separate teams instead of shoving the heavy weapons in infantry squads today. Just for variety's sake. Normally I stick them in the squads because they're harder to kill that way, but I'll try it this way. I've also got a Chimera, which the commander and some of her aides and command squad and stuff will be starting off the battle in, I imagine. And we've got the Hydra, which is the Imperial Guard's dedicated anti-air tank. Now the Hydra it's kind of interesting actually. I read up on the lore and stuff for this thing as I was building it. And apparently they're regarded with like a superstitious level of luck by Imperial Guard troopers. Because the Imperial Guard are typically quite vulnerable to air attack, and so whenever they've got Hydras around, they feel quite safe. To the point where they will frequently knock on the hull before with their knuckles before a battle starts for good luck. That's all in the Codex. I was reading that the other day, and I thought that was very interesting and weird. But nevertheless, what it actually is an anti-air tank that gets bonuses against flying units, of which the Nids have a few today. The Guard were expecting an air attack, because that's how Tyranid invasions usually start. Obviously what they weren't expecting was the Gene Stealer cult. But that's why they've got a Hydra with them today, which I'd love to try out. Never used it before. So obviously new module syndrome is in effect, and it will probably explode in turn 1. So that's the lot, I believe. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. Right, 1748 points of guard. A lot more models than I thought I would get for 1750 points, but that's guard for you in 8th edition. So yeah, all right. Yeah, that's it. I don't think there's anything else important to say other than I've covered the relics. Oh, and the Warlord trait is going to be the 5+ command point respawning thing because it's the only one I can ever remember. So I haven't stacked it with the other silly relic that allows you to do it to enemy command points as well, though. So, right. So let's go and look at the Tyranid / Genestealer cults. And this is 1749 points of Nids and Genestealer cults. 1 point more than me, which means, of course, you're actually going to win now. It's decided. Outcome decided in advance. Might as well pack up and go home. But anyway. It's how many command points?
I think I have 9 command points.
Okay, so not going to be spamming quite as much as myself.
I've got a battalion of Genestealer cults and a Outrider detachment of the Tyranids. So we'll start with the Outrider detachment because technically he is my warlord, the Hive Tyrant, leading it.
Yep.
I'm running the Jormungandr trait because that's what I always run. Or what I usually run.
What's that one?
For this army, it basically does nothing. But for a regular Tyranid army, it gives you you always count as in cover, unless you charge, advance, or have the fly keyword. So as you can see, it isn't going to be doing me very many favours this time.
Yeah, I mean the Cadian trait I've got, I didn't mention it at the time, but Cadians basically get to reroll 1s in the shooting phase if they stayed still in the movement phase. But because this is ambush and I need to get off the table, none of them are going to be staying still. Yeah. So we both have completely useless traits today, so that's good.
Cool. So I've got the Hive Tyrant. He's got a set of 2 2 Devourers with Brain Leech worms and a set of monstrous Rending Claws.
Lovely.
Which is represented by these bits.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah,
the classic Flesh Borer Hive conversion.
Right, yeah, I was going to say, I've got a winged Hive Tyrant myself, and it's converted in a weird way that makes no sense with any of the options in the Codex, so I'm beginning to get the feeling that the kit doesn't necessarily reflect the rules very well.
Yeah, there is a bit of a slightly odd disparity between the rules and the kit.
Oh
well. Anyway, he's got the Warlord trait Adaptive Biology, which means if you do any damage to him after that phase, he reduces all damage by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Ooh.
So unless you kill him in one phase, he's going to get tougher. And his inverted commas relic is the Infrasonic Roar, which is the Jormungandr specific one, which reduces the leadership of everyone in a bubble around him.
Oh boy.
So hopefully that'll do something today.
Yeah, I've got a lot of guardsmen with crappy leadership, so that's going to be interesting.
So also in this attachment we've got a troop choice of 20 Termagants. We've got a heavy support choice of a Trigon, just a standard one, not a prime. We have a flyer choice of the Hive Crone, and we have 3 fast attack choices of 10 gargoyles each.
Right, yeah, so this is to kind of reflect that, because basically I was looking in the Codex, and the very early stage of a Tyranid invasion is usually you get a combination of the cultists doing stuff. We'll get to them in a minute. But you have all of the airborne Tyranid organisms invading the planet. So this is basically the very earliest stages of the invasion we're trying to represent here with this battle. So I haven't brought most of my really heavy ordnance. There's no super heavy tanks and stuff here in artillery and that sort of thing. Likewise here with the Nids, we've got lots of flying stuff. It's the vanguard stuff, basically.
Lots of descending from the skies, getting shot with a Hydra stuff. We'll see. So that's the Tyranid detachment, and then we have the Genestealer cults battalion led by the Genestealer Patriarch, who has the Might from Beyond power. I think it's called. It basically it's a psychic power he can cast on a Genestealer cult unit, and that unit gets +1 strength and +1 attack. So as you can imagine, it's quite useful on these guys.
Oh boy!
A squad of 18 pure strain Genestealers.
Oh boy!
This is the meat of the army, really.
Yeah.
His partner in crime is the Genestealer Magus, who has the massive Gnosis power, which is a -1 to hit, and you can't Overwatch on the thing you cast it on.
Nice.
I think we're deciding in the narrative that this one individual is pretending to be an Inquisitor.
Right.
And he's told all the Imperial citizens that the Tyranid invasion is days, weeks away. You're safe. Don't worry about it. And those cults that are acting, they're all legit. They're loyal. They're not bad guys. Don't worry about them.
Yeah.
And then this happens.
Yeah. So this is why this is why we've kind of been caught off guard today. The Imperial Guard were sort of stuck out in the middle of nowhere on the way back to the Hive City, because as far as we knew that the Tyranid invasion wasn't going to be here for like another couple of days or something. So
yeah,
you've been lied to.
As is standard issue. Okay, troop choices in the battalion. We have 10. I think they are neophyte hybrids.
Right.
With that are basically Imperial Guardsmen. In fact, some of them are literally just Imperial Guardsmen. And they have 2 grenade launchers in that squad. And then we have 2 squads of 5 Acolyte hybrids, each of which has a single demolition charge.
That sounds nasty.
They will be riding in the Chimera.
Right.
And alongside them there's a heavy support choice of a Leman Russ.
Nice. Traitors from within the ranks. I love it. So, yeah. Anything else to say regards to relics and stuff, or have we covered it all?
Psychic powers on the Hive Tyrant, that's one thing I missed. He's got Psychic Scream and the Horror.
Right, okay. Oh, yeah, I've got... I do have a Primaris Psyker as well in my army. He's going to have Night Shroud and the Psychic Barrier ones, because those are the only 2 I can remember.
The good ones.
And he can only cast 1 Psychic Power a turn. I did 2 a turn in the last game. Luckily, the Dice Gods...
tried to.
I tried to, yeah. Luckily, the Dice Gods said no, that's not allowed, and made me fail all of my Psychic tests. But I will remember this time that Primaris Psykers can only cast 1 power a turn. Sorry, everyone. All right. Okay, so we'll get all of this set up, and we'll join you for, well, round 1, basically. And the convoy has rolled in, as you can see. Everyone's crowded onto the road. We've deployed from the centre, going backwards. And the road is roughly a foot wide, so that is according to the mission deployment. But we have fudged it a little bit, because over here, 1 infantry squad has been sent forward to investigate the barricade. And there are some nasties waiting on the other side, as you can see. So, this is the scene as it stands when the attack begins. And the attack itself is going to begin with a preliminary bombardment. 3 command points have been spent to bring in spore mines. They have floated down from the upper atmosphere and are going to be causing problems. As you can see over here, the Genestealer cultist tanks are rounding this corner here, about to launch their attack, and the Tyranid organisms have dropped in from above over on this side of the convoy as well. So, I have just about managed to squeeze everything in here. We've got a couple of tanks up at the front. I've got infantry screening them, kind of. The intention really wasn't to screen, but then I realised I just didn't have enough room to fit all these models in there. But in the middle here, we've got the Command Chimera, which has Major Lasky in, along with her command squad, and the Commissar, the Tech Priest, the Psyker. So all of her her command staff are inside the Chimera still, as they would be. She's probably on the long-range Vox equipment to HQ to try and figure out what on earth is going on. Meanwhile, the elite Kazakin have piled out of the Chimera, and they're standing out here. And at the back, we've got Perkins here, commanding the rear guard, with the Hydra and the Bulgrin squad guarding him. So, this is the scene as it stands, as battle is about to be joined. There's panic, shouts go across the Vox, and I struggle with my narration, and it's going to be very exciting. Things will blow up and all sorts of stuff is going to happen. However, well, actually things are going to blow up right now, in fact, because we're doing a preliminary bombardment. This is 3 command points. And basically, Dan's going to roll a d6 for every model every unit in my army. We'd be here forever otherwise. And for every 6 he rolls, they'll take d6 mortal wounds. So, this could potentially be very nasty. So we'll go ahead and do that off camera, because I have a lot of units. But will come back after the first shells, mortar shells, and I imagine spore things floating down. We've got spore mines over here. I imagine some are going to probably drop directly on the convoy as well. So I'll return in the aftermath of that. Okay, the preliminary bombardment is over. Seems over here that the barricade perhaps was booby-trapped because 4 guardsmen have been killed over here. A big old spore mine or something has dropped down right on top of Hannibal over here, and he's taken 6 wounds, so that Leman Russ is now down to half health. Might have to get the engines here running out desperately to fix that. And we've lost a couple of scions, Kazakin, whatever we're going to call them, over here as well. I popped the Iron Discipline stratagem for those guys. At least for them, it does actually make sense because they are elite. So I decided to go to ground with them. So they took D3 mortal wounds instead of D6, and I popped for 1 command point Iron Discipline. So in their following turn, they can actually act and move and do stuff. Otherwise, they'd be basically immobilized and unable to shoot or do anything. So. Some nasty hits there. I was particularly worried about perhaps Perkins over here copping one right off the bat, but luckily he didn't, and I didn't lose any of the Ogrins either, which I was worried about too. So, yeah, some nasty hits, which isn't brilliant, but okay, fair enough. So, I guess it's going to be... now, here's the thing. It would normally be the Tyranids / Genestealer cult's turn 1. However, I am going to spend an additional command point to try and seize the initiative. In this scenario, you can spend a command point as defender. It's called Turning the Tide, I think, and I can attempt to seize the initiative. So on a roll of a 6, I will get the first turn instead. So, 6. Oh yes! Hey! Okay, that is okay. There's a bit of glare on the camera, but yeah, that's a 6. All right, so
the tide is turned.
The tide has indeed turned. The bombardment has come in. The barricade booby traps have exploded, but luckily, Major Lasky's on the ball enough today that she's managed to seize command of the situation, and the guard will be reacting pretty quickly. So I guess it's going to be Imperial Guard turn 1 coming up next. Okay, so the Cadian 404th movement phase has concluded, and this is what's happened. The troops have fanned out across the sides of the road, mostly, partly to give cover to the vehicles, partly because they're probably just diving out of the road for cover because things have started to explode. These guys at the front who were scouting the barricade have fallen back after a bunch of them have been killed by an explosion. And the 2 Leman Russes have shuffled up 5 inches, so they will still be getting to fire twice because of grinding advance. But they haven't moved their full movement. The Chimera did move, but before that happened, this command squad, as well as the Primaris Psyker and the Lord Commissar, have jumped out, still remaining inside the Chimera, however. I've used a command point for the mobile command vehicle stratagem. So it actually is a command Chimera now. Lasky can stay inside and she can issue orders from the Chimera, basically. We measure from the Chimera when issuing orders to units, and it counts as her being near a Voxcaster as well, which is pretty cool. So she's in there, and Bert, her bodyguard, trusty, faithful friend, is remaining in there with her as well because he's an Ogren bodyguard and he will stick to her like glue. Meanwhile, the Kazakin have moved up this way, infantry have fanned out, the Bulgrins and Perkins have moved up a little bit, the Hydra has stayed put so it can open fire on the incoming airborne hostiles, and the heavy weapon squads have stayed still basically because there was really nowhere for them to move to, so they might as well stay still for now. So that's everything that's happened. Oh, and the Tech Priest engine seer hopped out in the front here, and he's been fixing up the engine on the back of this Leman Russ here, and he's healed 2 wounds on it. So there we go. That's the movement phase concluded. Now it's going to be shooting. We try and open fire on these attackers that are coming for us, but of course half of them aren't even quite just yet here. They're going to be doing their cult ambush stuff. So we think we've seized the initiative and we've spotted our attackers, but actually we're going to get a very nasty surprise. Orders have rung out on the Vox. Open fire, open fire. In the name of the Emperor, open fire or die. basically, we have done all of the small arms lasgun shooting and stuff off camera because it takes ages and it usually amounts to not very much. So what has happened so far is the veteran squad over here, as well as some of the other guardsmen and actually this heavy weapon team as well, opened fire and got rid of these spore mines. So that's one threat removed. Meanwhile, the stormtroopers over here actually lived up to their name because they have stormtrooper aim apparently. I think they only killed one gargoyle, and that was with first rank fire, second rank fire on them to make them double their shots. So that was impressive. These guardsmen planked up a few shots as well, along with everyone else along here. And basically, we've removed some gargoyles. That unit that was over there is mostly gone now. We took some off this unit over here as well, but that's really all that's happened so far. The Chimera also opened fire as well with the multi-laser and the lasgun array, which I can use, because even though there's only 2 people in this Chimera, they can somehow operate that entire array. Because rules is written, that's it, and the heavy bolter as well opened up and took out some gargoyles. So now, what's remaining is basically the big guns. These 2 tanks and the Hydra at the back. So I'm going to start with the Hydra, and that is 8 shots from the autocannons. So these will be firing up and over the building at, well, do I want to shoot the Hive Crone, or do I want to shoot the Flyrant?
Shoot gargoyles?
You should shoot the gargoyles, yeah.
Can I interest you in any gargoyles?
I can just see the Flyrant from here, I'm afraid to say. So,
Damn it.
Yeah, we're going to be shooting the Flyrant.
Sure thing.
Because he is really scary. Okay, so these will hit on 3s, because he has the fly keyword,
He
but
does.
he's not supersonic, unfortunately, so there's no minus here.
I wish.
So, hitting on 3s, and the Hydra didn't move, so I can re-roll that 1. There we go.
Not bad at all.
So that's kind of hideous. Alright, so this is strength 7.
I am toughness 7.
Alright, so wounding on 4s. Okay, and that is, yeah, that's 3 wounds at -1.
Okay. So I'm on my 4 after the vulnerable save.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
So pass 1, fail 2.
Fail 2, it's 2 damage each.
4
so
damage down.
4 damage done with the Hydra.
Okay.
I'll unload the heavy bolter into him as well. That's 1 hit. And no wound. Okay, cool. So moving swiftly on from that to Knight Commander Pask here, who was repaired just enough to be back in his top bracket of stats. So what he's going to do is, I think he's going to open fire with his cannon, and I think the Hunter Killer missile as well, at this Chimera here. So,
And the last cannon?
yeah, everything basically on this Chimera. I think I want to try and get rid of it, kill some stuff inside it maybe. So it's going to be 2d6 shots for the battle cannon because grinding advance. That's nasty. So that is 6, 10.
That'll sting.
Woo! That's, yep. Hitting on 2s as well. Yikes. Alright. Okay. So 10 shots, hitting on 2s. Yep. There we go. Doesn't get to re-roll that 1. Didn't stay still. That's when he truly becomes disgusting, especially if you give him a Punisher. Which is the big Gatling cannon version of the Lehman Russ. Okay, so these will now... This is strength 8.
Yep, toughness 7.
So wounding on 3s. Okay. I'll get rid of you. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at -2.
Okay, so
5 ups.
5 ups.
Yep.
Pass 2, failed 4.
4. Okay, so that's going to be 4d3 damage. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wounds.
That is more than it has.
Oh boy.
Does
Is
it
it
go boom?
Going to go kablam?
Nope.
No.
And there are 10 guys in there, if you want
Right. Yeah. I'm going to roll the dice for them. And here's the aftermath. One of these guys called again?
Acolyte hybrids.
Acolyte hybrids. One of them was killed attempting to extricate itself from the wreckage. The rest of them are fine, and they have piled out like this. So, finally, we have this remaining Lehman Russ here. Now, Pask, or Hannibal, our local neighbourhood counts as Pask, he's going to order this Lehman Russ to pound them to dust. so he can re-roll his shot dice for his big cannon. So he's going to actually be firing the main battle cannon and the las cannon at the barricade, and the two twin heavy bolters will go into I think this lot here. So we'll do the cannon first. So I'll re-roll that 2. Pound them to dust into a 2. Very good.
How about that?
Very good. 5, 6, 7. Okay. 5, 6, 7 shots. Now these will hit on 4s, just regular Lehman Russ. So wow. Okay, that's
Nice.
not bad. Statistics. I don't need no stinking statistical rolls. So that toughness 7 is the barricade, so this will wound it on 3s. So that is 4 wounds. AP minus 2, so yeah. No save, so 43 damage. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Alright.
Ammo.
Yeah, that's 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, the barricade has been well and truly destroyed. Okay, so these cultists are a little bit shocked because this is not how they expected this to turn out. But yeah, this Lehman Russ has just flattened the barricade and has opened a way for the Imperial Guard forces to advance through. But of course, their way is being blocked for now by these guys. In the meantime, we still have the heavy bolters to do. The last cannon I declared on the barricade, so we're just not going to bother with that.
Attacking the closest unit.
These guys down here. I'm gonna fire the. Oh, is that 2 units? Right, I see what you mean. Yeah, I'll closer one then. Okay. Closer one. Let's see. That is hitting on 4s. Well, 2 hits then.
Yep.
Wounding on 3s. Okay, 2 wounds.
6 up saves.
Minus 1.
No saves. 2 die.
2 dead cultists, and that there we go is the end of the guard shooting phase. I think I've popped off everything I've got. Oh,
These guys?
Oh yeah, there is this these squad here. All right. Well, they don't actually. They can't really see a lot, these guys. But tell you what, heavy bolter at try and finish off those gargoyles there.
Yep.
Frag missile at the other gargoyles over there. Las cannon at the flyer end here, because I can shoot him because he's got more than however many wounds it is for characters.
I mean, right. he's got less than 10 now.
Yeah. All right. So heavy bolter against the 2 remaining gargoyles. 2 hits. And 1 wound.
Blip.
So 1 dead gargoyle, and the las cannon. It hits. And it's going to wound on a 3, I think, yeah?
Yep. Nope.
Rolls a 1. Very good. Alright, and...
Frag.
Yeah, frag missile. So, D6 shots. 3. And...
3 wins.
Now, these guys did have take aim on them, I think, didn't they? So I think I can re-roll that. Not that it's going to... Yeah, no, it failed anyway. So that's fine. Yeah, 2 hits and 2 wounds.
Okay. 2 dead.
Cool. Alright, that really is it then. So everything in the Guard's arsenal has fired that could. We've put a dent in the Tyranids. Some of the bugs have fallen to our volleys of fire, but more are on the way. And more importantly, the really nasty ambush is about to be sprung. Exactly. In Tyranids turn 2. Coming up now. The swarm has descended. Gargoyles everywhere. Well, not quite everywhere. They're over here at least. There's still 1 lone gargoyle over there, but they're up in our faces. Everybody's probably panicking, and if they're not, frankly, they should be. At the end of the street here, you can imagine the road has just burst open and this huge Trigon has come out and all the little Gribblies have spilled out of the tunnel along with him. And these guardsmen are here holding this very thin line between the tank and them are probably... Yeah, they're not long for this world, I would imagine. That's probably how they feel, at least. Meanwhile, over here, the Gene Stealers have ambushed. Didn't get a very good ambush roll, unfortunately, so they could have been much, much closer. But unfortunately, they weren't. And also, these Acolytes as well have moved up too. And the Hive Crone has overflown the convoy and is right here at the front, ready to do something probably nasty to something. I'm not really sure what a Hive Crone actually does off the top of my head, so maybe it's going to try and turn that tank into lunch, we'll see. Anyway, so, and obviously also the Flyrant has advanced this way, and he's eyeing up these Kazakin right now, because, yeah, tinned food, basically. Very nice. So, that's the movement. You do have some shooting at least, don't you?
Yes. Before that, though, there's a phase in this game known as the psychic phase.
Oh yeah, that phase, that old thing. Yeah, it's not like I bring psychers and constantly forget about it, is it? No. So yeah, it is indeed the psychic phase, and the Patriarch over here is casting
Might from Beyond.
Might from Beyond. What's it actually do?
So it gives a friendly Genestealer Cult infantry unit within 18 inches +1 strength and attack characteristic on all the models until the next psychic phase. So he's going to cast it on that unit of 18 Genestealers.
And that is a casting value of
7.
7. Alright, here we go.
That's a 10.
Oh crumbs! All right.
I think you could try and deny it if you wanted.
Yeah, I might try and deny other stuff though. So
okay.
I've only got 1 deny in my entire army. So
all right. In that case, we'll move on to mass hypnosis from the Magus, which is going to be cast
way over there
on a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. This guy.
Okay.
Until the start of your next psychic phase, the target cannot fire Overwatch, fights last in the fight phase even if it charged, and must subtract 1 from its to hit rolls.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm going to hit that.
It's alright. Our friendly Inquisitor imposter is going to basically just annoy.
Oh, it's the Inquisition.
Yeah.
No, apparently not.
Not on a 5, no.
No.
Okay, never mind.
Moving over here, the Hive Tyrant. Not quite as subtle. We're going to be casting Smite.
All right. On who? Yeah, he's got those guys, right. And it's a super smite. All right, so I'm going to try and deny this. I basically need to roll to double 6. No. Okay, so D6 dead Kazakin, basically.
Just one.
Just one.
Do you know what? I might use my last command
Your
point.
final command point, yep.
Because it can't get worse.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
100% improvement. It's good.
Okay.
So 2 dead.
Alright, I'll get rid of you and you then. Okay. I'm so sorry, dude. Right. So
finally,
there's more?
He's going to cast his second psychic power, which is the Horror.
Oh.
On this.
Oh.
It reduces your leadership by 1, but more importantly, it reduces your to hit rolls by 1.
Oh, that's important.
Not a 5 though. So
you're rolling like me on your psychic rolls.
That Hydra is not scared.
Okay. He fears no one and nothing. In fact, I forgot to glue the crew member on, so it's basically just the machine spirit running the show and that thing right now. I haven't painted up the crew yet, so. But anyway, yeah, okay. Maybe Hydras are lucky then. Maybe these guardsmen are onto something. So now it's going to be the shooting phase, hopefully. Okay. Okay, so we're in the shooting phase. What's happened so far is flesh borers have opened fire all over the place and killed off guardsmen here and there. The little tiny bugs being shot out of these weapons, just sort of creeping in under their armour and getting in there. And it's very gruesome and not at all a nice way to die. And some of them have already gone down from the gargoyles and the termagants at the end there. Meanwhile, over here, these acolytes have opened up with their auto pistols, and these cultists over here opened up with grenade launchers and auto guns and pulped absolutely. Like, they're just a smear on the ground now. There's the squad that was up at the front scouting. They are gone, extremely dead from frag grenades and all sorts. So now what's going to be firing next is the Flyrant over here. So I believe
he has
some splitting fire is occurring.
He has 2 Devourers with Brain Leech Worms.
Yes.
Which are 6 strength 6 shots each.
Mm.
So he's going to shoot this squad with 1 arm.
Right.
And this heavy weapon squad with the other arm.
Right.
And I'm going to see what damage we can do. So I'll do the heavy weapon squad first.
Okay.
He's hitting on 3s. That's them, and wounding on 2s.
Gotcha.
So that's 3 wounds. There is no negative.
3 wounds. Can I touch your dice?
Sure thing.
Thank you. 2 dead, I think. Well, 1 is dead.
1.5 dead.
1.5 dead, yeah. There we go. So I'll stick that on the missile launcher.
Okay, and the left arm on the guard squad. 4 hits again. Sorry, 3 hits. 3 wounds.
Lovely. Okay. 2 saves. Okay, 1 dies. I'll just get rid of you at the end. Okay. Your shooting, unfortunately, so far has been a bit hit and miss, with the exception of the scouts at the front who just got obliterated.
It's not really what the army's for, though, is it?
This is true. There's a lot of charges incoming, I think.
Let's just try and make it better. And the Lehman Russ over here is actually firing at
this could be good.
Commander Hannibal.
Yep, aka Pask. So
let's fire the heavy bolter first for laughs. 2 hits.
Nice.
No wounds. Okay, and then how many shots do we get with the battle cannon? Firing twice because of grinding advance.
Yep.
5.
Yeah. Okay. Slightly less than average. Okay.
4s to hit. 2 hits.
Alright.
Strength 8, toughness 8, so 4s to wound. 1 wound.
1 wound.
-2.
5 up. Save. I do fail it. D3 damage.
Classic.
Alright. He's down to 7.
Okay, then the Hive Crone is going to fire its weapons. It's got 3 weapons that it can fire. It's got the Stinger Salvo, which is okay. It's got the Tentaclids, which are potentially good. And it's got the Drool Cannon, which is basically a heavy flamer.
The Drool Cannon!
Yes, so it's going to drool all over these guardsmen here.
Okay.
And then it's going to shoot the Tentaclids at Pask, because they can potentially put out some mortal wounds.
Okay.
And the Stinger Salvo is going to go into, I think we'll put it into these guardsmen as well.
Alright. Okay, Stinger Salvo first.
Hello, all hit.
Very nice.
Hit on 4s. It's strength 5, so wounding guardsmen on 3s. That's 3 wounds, and it's a -1.
Okay, so 6s. I do save 1.
Okay.
Yay.
2 dead guardsmen.
You and you. It's a bit thin on the ground this lot, I'm
The
afraid.
Drool Cannon.
Yes.
5 hits.
No.
I think it's strength 5, so 3 is to wound. 4 wounds,
Okay.
and it's at -1.
Right. Looking for 6s. Nothing. Okay. I think that is almost everybody wiped.
1 left by the looks of it.
Alright, I will.
Sergeant or Plasma?
That was the question, isn't it? I guess I'll leave the sergeant alive because
he might not run away.
it's more cool that way. He might do something epic. You never know.
And finally, the Tentaclids, my little grubbly things on the bottom.
Let's have a look. Ooh, oh, those are actually horrifying. Okay. Nope. Okay, so those
shoot your tank. So it's hitting on 4s. There's 4 shots, and then it's strength 5 AP -1, I think. But if you roll a 4 up to wound, it does a mortal wound in addition.
Ooh.
If you roll a 6 to wound, it's D3 mortal wounds.
Pull the hatch cover down, Hannibal.
Yeah. So only 1 hit though.
Right.
But it is D3 mortal wounds in addition.
You didn't pull the hatch cover down in time.
Just the 1 mortal wound though.
All right.
But then you still have a save as well at -1.
Okay. Doesn't make that either. So that is. How many wounds have I taken now? Sorry.
2 there. So down to 5. So
Right, there we go. Thank you. Okay, I say thank you. Thank you, sir. May I please have another?
Well, I didn't kill it. So.
Right. So that is your shooting concluded, correct?
Yep.
Right. Now comes the more interesting phase of the turn.
I hope so.
Charge phase. Okay, we're in the charge phase. Interrupting it because I've used a stratagem. What has happened previously, however, though, is the Flyrant has gone into these stormtroopers, Gargoyles have made it in with the heavy weapons team and Pask. So he's going to be locked up and not firing next turn. Also, an attempt was made. These Gargoyles tried to do a charge over these Guardsmen into the Hydra to lock it up and prevent it from shooting next turn. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. They failed the charge. Luckily, though, the Hydra completely whiffed its Overwatch as well, so no harm was done there at least. Now we come over here to the Hive Crone, which is going to be charging this Leman Russ at the front here, affectionately named Celestine, because I like to troll people and say my guard army has Celestine in it. I am childish, so...
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to use the defensive gunner's stratagem here for 1 command point. Use this stratagem when a charge is declared against one of your Astra Militarum vehicle units. When your unit fires Overwatch this phase, they successfully hit on a roll of a 5 or a 6 instead of just a 6. So, you can't possibly fail that charge roll. So,
Yep.
You could roll it anyway for academic purposes. There we go.
Ta-da!
No one can yell at us. You're in. All right. However, now comes the interesting part. So, 2d6. Shot 10. Okay, we got 10 shots. So, interesting. 10 shots with a battle cannon. These will hit on 5s or 6s. Oh boy. Okay, so we've got that symbol there is a 6. I don't know if it's come up before already up to this point, but I got some nice deployment zone dice. Thank you, Winters and Liam.
Deployment zone's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If you're not familiar and you enjoy watching these battle reports, you should check out the deployment zone, because that's run by Winters and Liam. And it's paid for subscription service that gets you loads of really good battle reports that are quite honestly better than mine. So yeah, and these I got some dice from them recently, so there you go. Anyway, wounding now on, what's the toughness of this thing?
6.
Okay, so 3s. Okay, so basically everything bar 1 wounded. 4 at -2, sir.
Okay, 6 up saves. Marks for life.
Not bad, not bad. Those are Tabletop Tactics dice, incidentally, who also do battle reports that are quite honestly better than mine. So go check them out too. Alright, so D3 from the one that did go through. 2 wins off that.
He's down to 10.
And now we've got the las cannon on the front. That misses, and heavy bolters. So that's going to be 6 in total. 5s and 6s. We get 2 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound, -1.
5 up save.
That's very cocked.
Failed.
All right.
It's down to 9 wounds.
Okay, 9 wounds remaining, but you've made it in. That
Could have
tank,
been a lot worse.
that tank is not shooting anything next turn. In fact, neither of my Leman Russes are, which is...
That's the plan.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
It's good for me.
Good, very good for you. But yeah, so neither are they going to be firing next turn, but also they're sort of stuck. I feel at the moment I have a lot more models on the table to play with, but the problem is, if I can't get any of those models off through the escape route towards the Hive City, I will lose. So it's kind of still very, very interesting. I've got a lot of Gribblies to get through and one very big one. So, fight phase.
One more thing.
One more thing.
One very important charge that needs to be made.
Oh yes.
This big unit of Gene
Right.
Stealers is going to charge everything.
All of the
not
things.
everything, but they're going to try and charge this veteran squad, this heavy weapon squad, and this guard squad.
Okay, so multi-charging like a boss. You
So,
need for this...
It will be a 9 because
Yep.
they had to be 9 inches away.
Gotcha.
Nope.
Oh dear.
Would have been nice if I had that command point though.
No, I've got... right, so now I better do my Overwatch for this. Well, the charge of the Gene Stealers was failed, but they didn't suffer any casualties to Overwatch whatsoever, so yeah, it could be a lot worse. So, fight phase now, and we're beginning with the Flyrant, are we not?
We are. So he has the monstrous rending claws, and he's also got an extra little attack for his tail. I'll do the tail first.
Okay.
Hits the tail. Hits on 2s. Yep. It's strength user, which is 6, so wound on 2s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No AP, but
4 up save.
Okay.
Hey!
and then we've got 4 attacks with the rending claws.
Carapace armor actually did something.
All hits. And these are 2s to wound, re-rolling because it's monstrous rending claws. That's
Okay.
And any 6s are even worse, but they're already D3 damage at -3, so...
Yeah.
Okay, reroll the 1. Still a 1. Okay, so that's 3 dead.
Yep. 3. Oh, let's see. Let's get rid of you, and you.
All the lads go.
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we move on to the gargoyles? They're going to pile in to make sure that they're touching this tank here. So I'm going to have these 3 on the tank and then the others on the heavy weapons.
Jolly good.
3 on the tank. That's a bit cocked. Roll that properly. No hits. And then 4 on the heavy weapon squad. That's 1 hit. It's a wound though.
Okay.
No AP, no nothing.
Fails to save.
Okay, so that kills that guy.
The missile launcher team is removed.
That also means they're affected by the blinding venom rule.
Oh yeah.
Which is not really going to have any effect.
Dropping dice everywhere.
Just means they're at -1 to hit for the rest of the until my next turn, I think.
Oh okay. Well, yeah, they're not going to be firing
They're not
anyway.
going to be shooting anyway. So
Well, they could with an order, but probably not.
So we'll just pile in like that. And we're actually going to pile into that Chimera as well to
Very good.
play the locky up game. It's fun.
I'll have to remember to try and attack back with
You
that.
will be able to try and run me over with a tank. Let's do the crone.
Okay.
The crone has... That's a good question. I think it's got 3 attacks.
Do you want to go check?
Might check that, yes.
Alright, Hive Crone is attacking.
Yep, so he has 2 attacks with his scything wings.
Right.
And 1 attack with his wicked spur, which I think is this bit under there.
That spur's wicked, dude! Okay.
Or possibly the tail. Maybe it's both. So here is the scything wings, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s though. 2 hits.
Right.
He's strength 6, so he'll need 5 to 6s to wound you.
Mm-hmm.
1 wound.
One wound.
It is -2 D3 damage.
5 up. Nope.
Good. D3. 3 damage.
Ouch. Alright, so next.
And then he has the wicked spur.
Yeah.
Which also hits on a 4, but no reroll. Hits. This is strength 8 -3 D3 damage.
Ooh, okay.
So 4 up to wound. It's a wound.
It's a wound. 6 up, save. Nope.
Another D3. Another
There
3.
you go, now you're rolling big money. So
6 wounds off it in total.
6 wounds off it, it's half health already.
And finally, it's this lone gargoyle versus this lone surviving sergeant. I do tend to have a lot of these weird one-on-one duels in my battle reports, I've noticed. So let's do it on camera. Let's go. Scree!
Missed.
Missed. Okay, well in that case, I shall fight back with my 2 attacks from my chainsword. I do hit. No wounds though. This epic duel will continue! Alright, is there anything else? Oh yeah, there's a few bits actually. The Chimera needs to attack back. I don't even know how many attacks. How often do Chimeras get in close combat?
3 hitting on 6s?
Probably, yeah.
Right, you sound convincing.
I rolled no 6s, so I'm just going to say that's probably how it is.
And both those tanks are probably D3 hitting on 6s?
I think, yeah, it will be actually because they're damaged. So D3 attack. Oh, 3. This is for Pask.
Nice.
So he gets 1 hit.
Wounds on a 2, I think.
Strength, yeah, strength an awful lot. That's a bit cocked. I'll roll again. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, that wounds.
Doesn't save, he ran over a gargoyle.
Yay! The other Lehman Russ at the front. D3 attacks, 2. And no hits.
And then you've got this heavy weapon team and what's left of the Kazakhstan.
Okay, I'll probably do them off camera because I imagine it will be inconsequential. I'll tell you what, actually, we'll do the squad leader there, the old Tempesta, I think he'd be called. I'm not sure, but anyway, so he's going to have. Good
2.
question. I don't actually know how many attacks. I think it's probably 2 though, with the power sword. So yeah, 2 hits.
6
and
to wound.
yeah, 6 to wound. No, he won't be a hero today. Okay. Okay, so it's a morale phase summary now. We've done rolls for all the relevant units. The Scions over here and the heavy weapons team did hold, mostly thanks to the morale bonus from the Commissar here. Unfortunately, the lone sergeant over there did run away. I didn't spend the 2 command points to make him auto-pass. That would have been a bit daft. So he's run for his life, and I can't really blame him, to be honest. So morale is done. At the end of the Tyranids turn 1, carnage, basically. They're right up in my face. They've locked up my first 3 vehicles in combat, so they won't be shooting next turn. They've blocked my immediate path out of here. Not bad, honestly. This is causing some trouble for the Guard right now. I'm going to have to see how I'm going to extricate myself. It could have been much worse, of course. The Gene Stealers could have made it in. The Hydra could have been locked up as well, but let's try and unscramble the puzzle that is this battlefield right now and see if we can get ourselves out of here. Okay, it's Imperial Guard turn 2, and it's the movement phase. What has happened is basically veterans and infantry have moved this way to get as many people into rapid fire range against these Gene Stealers as possible. They need to be dealt with because they're going to be a huge problem if they're not. Meanwhile, this Chimera's fallen back, the tanks have shuffled out of combat. Lasky and Bert are still inside the Chimera, they're not coming out just yet. Meanwhile, this big gaggle of characters in command squad and what have you is here. Perkins has moved in with the rest of them. The las cannon team here has managed to fall out of combat, and so have the remaining Scions. And in the gap created by it, the Bulgrins have charged in, and they're going to go back to that Flyrant, hopefully. And this squad weren't actually in combat to begin with, so they've just basically stayed put, although a few of them did move out of the way for the Bulgrins, so they won't get their Cadian reroll 1s for not moving, unfortunately. The Hydra has remained still, because the Hydra, well, it really needs to do some damage this turn, because my other 3 vehicles are currently unable to shoot. So that's not good. This infantry squad has sort of moved up here single file as well, to sort of basically get as many shots as I can downrange here at the Gene Stealers. In addition, this heavy weapons team has stayed put, luckily. That is 1 las cannon and 2 missile launchers I've got to play with there at least. And the Tech Priest Engineer has dutifully continued fixing Hannibal's tank and has restored another 2 wounds on it. So that's my movement. Now it's the psychic phase. I've remembered, hooray! So yeah, we've got a Primaris Psyker there, and let's see. Do I want to smite or do I want to do something else? I think what I will do is I will do Psychic Barrier on the Bulgrins. So this is a warp charge of 6 or 7. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. Shall I burn 2 command points to do this? Yes, I will. That's more like it. Definitely going to get that off. Okay, so the Bulgrins now have an additional +1 to their saves, unless, of course.
He's a psyker. I can try. Deny.
Okay.
No.
No. Okay, right. So
try very hard.
The Bulgrins now technically have a 1+ save, but the reason I did that is because they might get hit back by the Flyrant with a rend on it, basically. So that will help mitigate some of that, hopefully, a little bit, if the Flyrant survives. And at the moment, I honestly don't know if he will or not. So that's why I did that. Okay, so now it's going to be the shooting phase. Basically, it's going to be me unloading a lot of las guns into Gene Stealers for the most part, I think. Alright, we're well into the shooting phase now for the Imperial Guard. The following has occurred. Basically, everything along here that could fire did fire at the Gene Stealers. There is 1 left alive. That is a threat, more or less removed. The Brood Lord Patriarch thing is still there, of course, but that's one big, massive threat dealt with. Meanwhile, I've had a few bits of incidental shooting, like the Tech Priest with his las pistol and the Sergeant with a las pistol over there shooting at gargoyles and things. I think I've plinked off a few extra gargoyles here and there. This squad over here let rip with everything into the 3 remaining gargoyles there, and they are gone. And now, a couple of things are interesting that's happening. Well, the first thing is this las cannon. I did it off camera, partly because I forgot we weren't filming, and partly because I didn't think it would necessarily do anything that good. But this lone las cannon fired up here at the Hive Crone and has killed it. It is dead. It did 5 damage. The Hive Crone is super dead. Didn't do any explodey stuff on death either, which is useful. So, yeah. Now, something interesting is happening over here with these Bulgrins. So, they're all armed with frag bombs, these Bulgrins. Now, normally one of them could chuck a frag bomb, but I am using this stratagem here. Grenadiers! Use this stratagem before an Astra Militarum infantry unit from your... Focus, camera, focus. Come on. From your army shoots or fires Overwatch. Up to 10 models. What is going on with this camera's focus right now? Come on. Armed with grenades can throw a grenade in this phase instead of only one model. So basically the whole unit can throw their grenades instead of just one of them. And they're going to chuck all of their frag bombs at the Flyrant. So, 5 Bulgrins, 5d6 shots.
Cool.
Okay. Alright, so this is 20 shots. And this could honestly be significant, so we are going to film it. Here we go, hitting on 4s with Bulgrins. Their shooting is not as bad as I thought it would be. So, actually, yeah, it's pretty good indeed. Police cars outside to come to arrest the Hive Fleet. So, back in the day, when I used to do videos back in the day and had a crap microphone and I lived on a main street at university, I would pretty much every single video I ever did, we would there would be at least one ambulance or a police car in it. So it's nice to see the return of an age-old tradition, I suppose. Sirens in my videos again, guys. The nostalgia is real. All right, wounding on probably 5s and 6s, I imagine.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Decent roll.
Not bad.
3 up
Lots of explosions.
Take 2 wounds.
Nice. All right. Well done.
Down to 6.
And thank you for reminding me the frag bombs were a thing that existed, by the way.
Yeah.
That was very sportsmanlike of you, especially considering I also had the stratagem ready to go, so...
Things go boom, it's cool.
Yep. Okay, so that has exploded, and I think that's it. All of the shootings... Oh, with the exception of the Hydra, yes, thank you. So the Hydra... Well... I guess it's going to...
I assume it was originally going to shoot the thing that was here.
It was going to shoot the Hive Crone, yeah. Now... I could let rip into the Flyrant, however, I think the Bulgrins may be able to deal with them. How many wounds has he got left?
He's got 6 left.
Right, okay, so I think the Bulgrins actually might be able to get him. So I'm going to gamble here, and I'm going to fire everything from it into these gargoyles to try and mop them up, basically, get that out of my way. So, that is 8 from the... Yeah, 8 shots from the autocannons. This will hit on 3s because gargoyles have the fly keyword. And, well, that's not great, but I can reroll. Yeah, we got Cadians and we stayed still, so we shoot better, innit? Alright. And these will wound on 2s, I think.
That's correct. Kill on 2s, in fact.
Yep, there we go.
Dead.
Dead.
Come here,
Gargoyles. Bye-bye. Alright, and yeah, the heavy bolter, I would have fired at them too, so that's gone, and that is the end of my shooting phase. Charge phase now. This doesn't come around very often for the Guard, you usually skip it, but in this case, no! Bulgrins are happening! I will roll the thing anyway, even though I know they're in, but 7 inches, there does give me a bit more leeway to get more of them in. So now, Overwatch.
Overwatch, so I've obviously got 2 Devourers with Brain Leech Worms, so that's 12 shots.
Okay. Okay.
2, 3, 4 hits.
Right.
Strength 6.
Toughness 5, 3 plus to wound.
There you go, 3 wounds. No AP, but it's 3 wounds.
Okay, so 3 2-ups
Yeah.
because of their slab shields. And they do save all of it. They're like, Bulgrins, it's embarrassing, but Bulgrins at the minute I honestly rate higher than Terminators. I've got to be honest. Poor Terminators. Anyway, right, these guys are in. And this is what it looks like after the pile-in. We've surrounded him. We've got him surrounded, Sarge! So we're going to attack, and each Bulgrin gets 4 attacks, and the Bonehead gets 5 because of the avalanche of muscle rule. So when they charge, they get an extra attack. So this is a lot of attacks, basically. and these will hit on 3s. And the strength 7, AP -1, damage 2. So
Okay, so wounded on 4s.
yeah, so hitting on 3s. Okay, let's get rid of these 1s and 2s. And then that's a very good roll. Oh. Okay, I'm excited now. It's the first time I've ever used Bullgrins.
You're excited by an avalanche of muscle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oi. But yeah, I painted them up specifically for this game, so yay.
Okay. 4's the wound.
It's not as good.
No, it isn't.
Alright, so we got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's it. 4. 4 -1.
Okay, right, 4 up in vulnerable
I
status then.
shouldn't have been as confident.
Well, I failed 3.
Okay.
So, however, my that would be 6 damage, which is the exact number of wounds he's got left. However, my warlord trait, the adaptive biology, has kicked in, having already taken damage previously in the game.
Right.
So I'm reducing each attack by 1, the amount of damage. So that's only 3 wounds in total.
That's disgusting. All right.
So
It lives.
he's poorly, but he's alive.
Okay. Well, that was my only unit, so looks like you're going to be fighting back. So the Bullgrins came charging, bellowing in, and just hammered away at this Hive Tyrant with their massive shock mauls. But it's not quite dead. That adaptive biology, that strange factor that the Tyranids have that makes them survive punishment well beyond they should, has kicked in, and it's still alive, and it's going to fight back right now.
Okay, so it's now hitting on 4s because of the damage profile. That's only 1 hit with its monstrous rending claws.
Okay.
It's strength 6 still, so when you're on 3s, it's a 6. So because it's monstrous rending claws, that means this attack is at -6 AP
-6?
and a flat 3 damage.
What? What? Well, okay. Well, they do have psychic barrier on them, so basically,
Maths is hard.
they would have a 1+ save. -6 is. I still don't think they get anything, do they? This is a weird situation. I don't think I've ever been attacked by a -6 weapon before.
-6 is 0, so no.
No, they don't. All right.
Cool. So one dies.
One of them's dead.
And then the tail swings in and misses.
All right. Okay. So that didn't go according to plan, but when does it ever? At least we only lost one of them, but that was brutal. So morale. The only morale I've got to do is these guys now. They are leadership 8. Surprisingly enough, boneheads, especially in Bullgrin squads, are very loyal. They're a bit too stupid to know when to run away. So with losing only one guy, they're going to be automatically fine. Do you have any morale, sir?
I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure the Gene-Stealer Patriarch has a synapse light rule for his Gene-Stealer blade.
Right. Okay.
So I think they're immune to morale.
Okay, so basically no running away then this turn.
That is correct.
Well, I think it was a pretty good turn for me. I've cleared a path at least for now, sort of. We've still got these guys up here in the way, but and this one lone gargoyle as well. Let's not forget him. So yeah, okay, interesting. I still have not got anything off the table, so technically I'm still not in a great place right now. In fact, most of my stuff, in fact, is at the very wrong end of the table at the moment. It's right at the back. So, but I'm winning the firepower war at least. So the body count is a thing. So we're going to go over to... Are we still just turn 2? We are, aren't we? Okay, Nid's turn 2. Let's go. Alright, it's the end of Tyranid's turn 2 movement phase. The streets are slick with blood, and the air is filled with the screams of the dying and the beat of monstrous wings. Because there aren't an awful lot of Tyranid models left in the field at the moment, but the ones that are here have scurried forth to cause me some serious problems. For one thing, this Gene Stealer is going to assassinate this Tech Priest, apparently.
Yeah,
We're going to have another epic Tech Priest brawl. Maybe I'll do better this time, we'll see. The Hive Tyrant seems to have disengaged from the Bullgrins, and
he's severely damaged, so he's down to about 5-inch movement, so he can only get that far.
Yeah, but he is...
He is a fly creature,
yes.
so he can use his guns now, which I thought would probably do more damage than swiping away at the Bullgrins.
Yeah, I reckon so. I would get away from that big tar pit, honestly, because that's what they are. So elsewhere as well, Termagants have scurried forth. The Trigon has slithered down the road here and is eyeing up probably one or more of these tanks with those big claws of his. And these cultists have moved forth, and these acolytes are about to charge into this thin line of guardsmen as well. So...
And the Patriarch.
Patriarch, yes.
He's very upset that you killed all his sons and daughters.
Yeah, he's gonna be gobbling up these veterans, I think. So now, psychic phase. I remembered. Psychic phase. So what's happening then?
Right. So the Patriarch is going to do Might from Beyond on himself.
Ah, okay.
To make him uber beefy. It goes off on a 10, so that's +1 strength and attack on him.
Right. I'm not even going to try and deny that, so...
Cool. The Hive Tyrant is going to cast... Well, he's currently closest unit to this heavy weapon team, so he's going to try and smite that team away.
Alright.
It's a force, that fails.
Ah.
And then he's going to cast the Horror on... we're going to cast it on the other heavy weapon team.
Right.
So hopefully reduce their ability to do things. 9 goes off.
Alright, I will try and deny that with
Sure
my
thing.
Psyker. 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I just matched it but didn't beat it, so that is not denied.
Sorry. And finally, the Magus is going to cast his thing, Mass Hypnosis.
Right.
And he's going to cast it on this Lehman Russ again.
Okay.
Or a 10-2 again. Yes.
Oh, alright.
Okay, so that's -1 to hit on this one, and importantly, no Overwatch.
Ouch. Yeah, that is a problem, actually.
Because there might be a Trigon charging in.
I could have done defensive gunners again, but not now. Alright. Alright, we're in the shooting phase for the Tyranids, and this is what's happened so far. These cultists over here let rip with their auto guns. Massive volleys of rapid fire coming in here, and well, it was the scene from Pulp Fiction, The Divine Intervention, where the guy fires off the entire clip magazine and misses with everything. That's pretty much what happened here. That was a bit crazy. So
to be fair, one of them died to the Magus' auto pistol.
That's true.
That was it.
The Magos, obviously he knows what he's doing, the others don't. These guys fired off a few grenades and bits into them as well, and I think they killed another. And over here, the Flyrant put some wounds into these guys. He killed a Scion, and he put a wound on the heavy weapons team. And the Termagants basically fired all of their flesh borers at this tank, and unfortunately none of the little gribblies that they fire out of those things could find a way in through the armour plating. So, no damage done there. Now, however, something slightly more interesting. We've got a demolition charge being thrown at Hannibal. Kablam. So...
D6 shots. 4. I'll take that.
Okay.
4's to hit.
Oh dear.
Never mind.
That's your dice roll in this game. It's been a bit... Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, moving on.
The Lehman Russ then is the only thing left to fire, and it's going to fire everything at Pask, not Pask.
Okay, gotcha. So keep forgetting he's there, actually. He needs to be dealt
because he
with.
looks like one of your tanks.
I know.
Heavy bolter hits 3 times. So he didn't move. Wounds twice.
Okay.
So that's 2 -1 saves.
4 ups. Loves it.
And the battle cannon.
That's a bit cold. Yeah, I better reroll that. Oh, now I feel
Damn
bad.
it.
Now I feel bad. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, I only need 3 shots to kill you. No,
Okay, never mind.
we'll have to do it the old-fashioned way.
I like to think that this guy is being lit up as a friendly on their Auspex equipment and their sights and stuff like that, and that's why they've not actually sort of done anything about him yet.
Also because he hasn't actually done any damage yet, so...
Yeah, true. Eventually they're going to figure out, and they're going to have to. The commander's going to have to get to override all the stuff and probably annoy the machine spirit and what have you. But hey, right.
Cool.
Is that shooting done then?
That is the shooting phase.
Okay, so the somewhat more important charge phase.
The fun phase.
The fun phase, I like it. We're in the charge phase. The Patriarch is obviously charging these veterans here, and we were rolling the Overwatch off camera. I started with the 2 melter guns, and I got a hit. So, of course, now I've turned the camera on, I will immediately whiff the wound roll. That's how this works.
I
But
like this plan.
okay,
He has toughness 5, so you will need a 3.
to wound 3 up.
Okay.
Okay,
He's got a 5 up and vulnerable save.
it's a 1, I'm afraid.
Okay, he is definitely in melter range, but he does have 6 wounds.
2d6, pick the highest. I've rolled a 6, dude. I'm so sorry. Thank you, DZTV dice. Thank you.
Damn
Alright.
you, Winters!
And the charge phase is completed. The hive mind knows what it's doing. It's creating a wall of flesh up here that I'm going to have to chew my way through. And at the moment, it's not looking great for the stuff that is up here already. These guardsmen here are surrounded by cultists and acolytes. They did kill one on Overwatch on the way in, but that's it. I don't think these guys are very long for this world unless they're absolute heroes. Meanwhile, the Termagants have piled up here towards this tank, getting some free movement into the bargain. The Trigons come up here to smash Celestine to bits. And this lone Gene Stealer has charged the Tech Priest and piled into the tank, which means the tank could fight back against it, in theory. But, the tank's got other problems to deal with, unfortunately.
Like this gargoyle!
Like this one very, very, very angry gargoyle. So, that's a thing all happening. Epic Engine Seer duel to Electric Boogaloo. And that is it for the charges, I believe. The problem here, right, basically now is that my tanks are so hemmed in, it's going to be very difficult for me to even try and get them out of combat next turn. So, very tactical, very good moves there by Dan. Fight phase next. Let's see how much of my stuff dies. In a flurry of claws, knives, and bayonets, the Gene Stealer cultists have piled in and they've killed most of the squad. This lone Voxcaster over here at the back still lives, along with the Flamer, one last guardsman, and the Sergeant being crowded in by all of these guys. They are probably going to be disappearing from morale later on. They are going to be quite understandably running away. So, that brings us to the Trigon. Going to rip this tank apart.
That's the
Quite
plan.
possibly.
Okay, so he's a Trigon. He's got 6 attacks on his profile, but he gets an extra 1 because he's got more than 1 set of Scything Talons, obviously.
Yep.
He also has an extra 1 with his tail, but I'll save that for last if required. Hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s because it's Scything Talons.
Okay, it's a good start.
There we go. That's 5 hits. It is strength 7, so he's wounding on 5s.
Right.
And
that was not
right.
good.
Tail hits, doesn't wound.
Okay, Lehman Russes they're built to last.
Apparently so.
Difficult.
That means
To a Trigon, a Lehman Russ is like one of those, there's a really annoying plastic packaging
Yeah.
that you just cannot get open.
Yeah.
That's he just can't get into his lunch right now, and he's very annoyed.
I know you're in there.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'll have to roll a lot of termagants in a minute then.
yeah. So now, this epic conflict here between the Engine Seer and the Gene Stealer. Let's do this.
The battle to end all battles. Pure Strain Gene Stealer gets 3 attacks. They all hit.
Oh boy.
Strength 4, toughness 4.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, it's toughness 4 and a 3+ save. So.
Okay. Right, so 2 fails, but 1 rending, so that's a -3. Yeah. No, -4 for rending.
-4. Oh, yeah.
So it's just a wound.
Doesn't get a save then. So he takes a wound.
Yes.
Right. We'll do this slightly out of sequence, I think.
He's going to hit back.
Yeah, I'm going to hit back with him
Okay.
now, and we'll deal with the little gribblies in a minute. But so he's got 2 attacks, which is not brilliant. These will be with the Omniscient Axe, and these will hit on 4s, I believe. Yep. So 1 hit,
It's a
1 wound.
5 up and vulnerable save. No.
The duel continues!
Okay, folks, that's the end of Tyranid's turn 2. Didn't do an awful lot of like actual killing, but what they did do is completely jam up this road here. Like there's going to take some effort to get through this, which is important because I still haven't got anyone off the table yet. That is important. And also my tanks are just stuck right now. I think this one might be able to pull back next turn, but I think this one's just stuck. So yeah, interesting. Now, we did do morale as well. Another guardsman from this squad ran away. It was the Voxcaster at the end here. And actually by pulling away that Voxcaster, this squad of Acolytes is now not in combat and shootable, which is good. I didn't realise I was doing it that way to begin with, but Dan pointed it out, and I'm
Tactical genius.
going to pretend that was the idea to begin with. So, yeah, but that's it. So it's going to be guard turn 3 now, where I've got to try and figure out a way forward. Not very good at going forward, the guard, really. We prefer to stay put. It's just in our nature, you know.
It's that way.
Oh god, yeah, I'll go that way. Okay. Alright, it's the guard's movement phase. Summary. This is what has happened. Pask/Hannibal has reversed back this way into that building to get out of combat, so he's not locked up anymore. This Chimera has sort of shuffled very slowly to make a bit more room over here, and its passengers have finally disembarked. Major Lasky's here with the rest of the command staff in this little huddle, and her bodyguard Bert here has jumped out. She's basically said, "Bert, smash," and Bert says, "Bert, smash." So he's going to try and knock out that Flyrant if the brute squad over here doesn't manage to do it as well. Meanwhile, the Hydra's finally moved. It can still reliably put shots into the Flyrant, even if it did move, so that's fine. This squad has stayed still. If they did move with, what was it called again? The Horror?
The Horror.
The Horror on them, they would be hitting on, I think, 6s, so they've stayed put. This squad has advanced up through this rubble and rocks and stuff over here so they can get some better shots at some of the gribblies hanging around here that I do really need to get rid of. And this veteran squad has moved and advanced into this ruined chapel here so that they can flank around this side and put some fire into this lot over here is the idea. And maybe eventually they'll get close enough to put some melter fire into this tank. Over all the way on the other side, my infantry squad that was at the back has been ordered to basically flank over on the right hand side and get around this building so they're at the other end of the street. That's what the commanders have ordered them to do. So they've done it. They've moved and advanced, and in the shooting phase I'm going to order them to move, which means they'll be moving and advancing again, hopefully up to around there or so. They won't be doing any shooting this turn, but they potentially could be next turn, and at the very least I've got some more yards up the board. So, speaking of orders and shooting and stuff, we're going to go into the shooting phase now, and I will tell you what orders I've issued. Move, obviously those guys over there as I said, and for this lot, forwards for the Emperor, so they can shoot with everything even though they advanced. This squad of troopers here has got first rank fire, second rank fire, so they're going to be shooting more than once with their las guns basically. And this heavy weapons team has been given take aim, so they'll be re-rolling their 1s, 2s and 3s to hit. Not the 4s, because re-rolls are done before modifiers, but the 1s, 2s and 3s they can re-roll to hit when shooting, and they've got some targets to shoot at. Annoyingly, the Trigon I cannot shoot because it's locked up in combat with the tank that I couldn't move. So, I mean, I could have maybe tried to move it out of combat specifically with the Trigon. If I was a smarter player, I might have tried that, but yeah, I wasn't smart enough to try that, so that's not happened, basically. So, it's going to be Psychic Phase, then the Shooting Phase. The Psychic Phase is very brief with this lot. Basically, I'm going to... good question. I guess I'll probably just smite. I'll try and smite the Flyrant. 4, 5, 6, 7. That is a successful smite.
It is actually only 6 though, because I've got the Shadow in the Warp ability.
Correct, yeah. Shadow in the Warp is the thing.
But it still passes, which means I need a 7 to deny it. Which I don't get.
Alright.
D3 mortal wounds. Just
1.
the 1. It's got 2 wounds left.
Right, I should be able to finish him off then quite easily. So, Shooting Phase next. I'll get all the small arms out of the way first, I think, and then we'll come back for the good stuff. Well, it was a pretty quick Shooting Phase for the Guard in the end, on account of the fact that they don't have a lot of viable targets. Essentially what happened really is this veteran squad with forwards for the Emperor shot and wiped out these 3 acolytes here. The Gargoyle and Gene Stealer were gotten rid of, and that's pretty much it. The Hydra attempted to fire some shots downrange at the tank, didn't do anything, and I've left the Hive Tyrant alive because I'm pretty sure I can smash it in melee and therefore get some extra movement up the table as a result of it. That's the plan anyway. You just watch me whip now and ruin everything.
Charging weirdly.
Charging weirdly, yes. So, because all these guys are all locked up in combat. They're all locked up in combat, including the Trigon. So there's really nothing left for me to shoot if I wasn't going to. Well, basically the Hive Tyrant was the last thing I could shoot, and I wanted to kill it in the fight phase. So yeah.
You want Bert to have his glory.
Bert, yes, he wants to add another kill mark to his shoulder pads. So he's going to be charging in, and we've just done Overwatch, and you got 3 wounds.
3 wounds,
correct? So he does have his 2-up invulnerable save because just breaking the rules as written so hard right now with this guy. I mean, eventually GW is probably going to fix this, you would think, but hey-ho. So yeah, he's saved every single one of those with his 2-up invul, and for academic purposes, he is in. So, great. Bert smash. So the Ogrins as well, the Bullgrins that is, they are also definitely in. Let's see if I can
see one right there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know, because he'd have to go up around the building and.
They're infantry, aren't they? So you can just move through the wall, right?
Well, not a solid wall like that. You'd have to climb up and over it. So.
There you go. Then.
Yeah, just leave them like that. And any other charges? I don't think so. So fighting. Bert has 4 attacks. And he hits with 3 of them. And this is strength 7. So, falls to wound. He wounds with nothing. No!
Good.
You fall! Alright. Oh, he does get an extra one because of Avalanche of Muscle, I think. Let me just check. Ogren Bodyguard. Avalanche of Muscle, yeah, so he gets 1 more attempt. Hit. 4 up. He wounds! Hooray! So AP minus 1, 2 damage.
Failed, but adaptive biology reduces that down to 1.
Okay, so
he's
1
on
wound
1
done.
wound left.
Now it's the rest of the Bullgrins. And that is going to be, an avalanche of attacks, basically. I'm going to go get some dice. Alright, here we go. Bullgrins into the Flyrant. I can just about hold all the dice. Hitting on 3s. That's a lot of 2s. Oh, God. Alright. Oh, there's another one. Goodbye to you. And now wounding on 4s. Okay, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 wounds, minus 1.
4 up and vulnerables. He's only got 1 wound left. Ooh.
Nearly, but
not quite. So, does he go crazy on a 6 and kill everyone?
Please don't. I'm now glad you don't have any command points left. Alright. So, the Brute Squad have finally brought it down. Professional monster hunters, these guys. They're pretty good. I do like them. Bulgrins. Very worthwhile unit for Astra Militarum, I think. Very underrated, actually, in many respects, because most people just use those points to buy more tanks, but this is what happens to tanks in certain situations, whereas the Bulgrins, if they're in there, they'd be loving it right now. They'd be having all sorts of fun.
They are living tanks, aren't they?
Yep. But yeah, I mean, this is the problem with tanks in small urban streets, really. They get stuck up like this, so... Okay, well, fight phase concluded. Morale. Oh, no, you're right. Right.
There's a whole lot of ongoing fights to go.
There's actually all of this nonsense still to resolve. So, okay, well, these guys, we've got 4 attacks. 2 for the sergeant with his chainsword. 1 for each of the survivors. Let's see. Tell you what, the sergeant's going to attack the Magos. Because why not? He hits
Hey,
twice.
you're no Inquisitor.
Yeah. And...
Toughness 3.
Okay. Wounds on 4s. Oh, no. Alright, never mind. And then the other 2 into the Acolytes. Nothing. Alright.
Good out. Shall I do the Trigon?
Go for it.
Because he wants to make amends for not doing very good last time. So here are the...
Couldn't open his packed lunch, could he?
No. Try again this time. Okay, that's good. Reroll the 1, so it's Signing Talons.
Okay.
5 hits. 5s and 6s to wound, though. Just the 1, but it's better than none. It's -3, so you'll get a save of some sort.
6 up.
Okay. Nope. And it's d6 damage. 5. It's got 1 wound left.
1 left.
And then the tail.
Oh no.
Whipping in. Hits. Doesn't wound.
Whew. Okay. I have to emergency run the engine syrup there next turn. If it's not going to survive next turn, is it?
Got a whole lot of turns
What am I on about?
All
Alright.
right, bring it down.
Okay. Yeah. Better do that then. And there we go. The Termagants managed to peel off that last wound on the Lehman Russ, clawed their way in through a damaged armor plate, I imagine, and just did a number on the crew. It's gone. It didn't explode, unfortunately. Meanwhile, over here, these last 3 guardsmen were finally wiped out by the cultists. And this is how it stands at the end of the turn. The hive mind has blocked off this road. The guard are kind of in a confused huddle on this side, but we do have units flanking on the left-hand side and the right-hand side at least. It's just a question now of can we blow our way through the last of this and get to the exit in time. And I'm sort of confident, but we'll see. We shall see. We still have a Lehman Russ that's completely untouched down there to deal with. And a Trigon that I also don't think has taken any wounds either. And lots of Gribblies to clear out. So, yeah, interesting. So not a bad turn. So, yeah, it's gonna be Tyranid's turn 3?
Yes.
Yes, Tyranids turn 3 up next, where, yeah, okay. I don't even know what's going to happen at this point. So...
Let's find out.
Yeah. Alright, it's Tyranids turn 3 movement phase. It is turn 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay. The tank has stayed still.
Yep.
No real reason to move it. And the wall of flesh has moved this way to completely clog this street entirely. The Trigon has moved forwards here with the intention of, well, he's got like a whole smorgasbord of things he could eat, really. It's up to him which one he decides to chew on. So, also, the Tyranids have moved up. Let's try and be more specific. The Termagants have advanced up here as well to completely block the street off. And at the back here, the cultists have moved forward. The Magos has sent his acolytes into these ruins over here to try and deal with these pesky veterans. And the Magos himself is standing very dramatically, guarding the entrance between these 2 rocks and the exit towards the Hive City. So that's the movement phase as it stands. Mm-hmm. Do we have anything psychic left to psychic with?
1 psychic power from the Magus.
Okay.
He is exactly 18 inches away from Mr. Pask. Not Pask.
Okay.
So he is going to do a little smite.
Oh, yummy.
7.
Marvellous. I don't think I'm in deny range, am I?
Probably not.
Because I'm all the way
18
back
to
over
there,
here.
so
Yeah, no. So
D3, 2 wounds.
2 wounds. Ouch. So that puts me down to
4. No,
he's
that's
on
a 9.
9. So yeah,
7.
7 wounds remaining on Hannibal. He's not going down without a fight at least, but mostly because he's got a nice tech priest fixing him up constantly. So, right, shooting next. Tail end now of the Tyranid shooting phase, and basically it's come down to lots of guardsmen being plinked off, and these veterans here lost a couple to incoming fire from, I think it was a demolition charge?
Yes, I threw a demolition charge at them.
That wasn't very nice. It only killed 2 of them though, because I used the take cover stratagem, which gives them a +1 to their save against enemy shooting. And they're also in cover in this ruined chapel here, so basically I was allowed a 6-up save as a result of that, and I rolled 2 6s out of the 4 wounds that they took. So 2 guardsmen saved there. Now, finally, this Lehman Russ is unloading everything into this squad of guardsmen. So
Do the heavy bolter first. 3 hits. 1 wound.
okay, so
so
that will be a 4+.
Yep.
Thanks to take cover in the ruins, which they pass.
Battle cannon shooting twice. 10 shots. Now we're talking.
Okay. 10 shots coming in.
4 to hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits.
Alright.
2s to wound.
Oh yes.
3 wounds.
3
-2.
wounds. Which will become minus nothing. Thanks to
5 up
Thess
save.
in the ruins, so they're 5-up saves. Alright, 1 passed.
It's a 5 down there.
Yep.
So I killed 1 with a battle cannon.
1 with a battle cannon is dead. Let's
Okay.
get rid of you. There we go. And the Tyranid charge phase is concluded. These acolytes have charged into the ruins to deal with the veterans. I think I killed 1 on Overwatch, if I recall, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I didn't. It's all a bit of a blur at this point, to be honest. I know I definitely killed 3 gaunts over here with the tank, which I used defensive gunners with for a command point, which allowed me to Overwatch on 5s and 6s. So I killed 3 gaunts, then they piled in, the big wall of them charging in there, and the Trigons into the tank as well. So basically the Trigon's going to be trying to tear Hannibal apart, and hopefully he whiffs, because I really don't want him to tear Hannibal apart. That would suck. So yeah, fight phase. That's about all there is to say, so let's get on with it. Okay, first up it's the acolytes into this veteran squad.
Okay, this is the attacks with their knives. Stabby, stabby. That's 3 hits. And 1 wound. No
Okay.
save modifier.
5 up. Saved.
And here are their rending claws. Oh, 3 hits.
Okay.
No
wounds.
wounds.
What?
Those veterans are heroes.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, you imagine how long you actually have to survive in the Guard to actually be considered a veteran. Like, they're hard as nails. That lot. I mean, they've got Catachan arms, which is why that's why they're so hard to kill. Basically, they're part Catachan. So anyway, this
Trigon.
next. Yep.
See if we can do a bit better this time then. So obviously this is on not Pask. It's the regular attacks, re-rolling 1s because it's Scything Talons. Okay, and then 5s to wound.
Okay.
That is 2 wounds, -3.
Alright. 6 up. No.
That's 2d6 damage.
This might be the end.
5 wounds left. There you go.
Yep. He's gone.
Does he kaboom?
Kaboom? No kaboom.
That's good, that means he can get out and run away to safety.
Yeah.
And
Hop out of
appear
there.
in a later battle report.
As the tank brews up, hops out, runs off. In fact, I think in future, at least for a while, I will probably have him running without Pask's rules. He'll probably be running as a regular tank commander, because I reckon the rest of his crew is probably dead. and only he made it out alive. So he's going to have a slightly more novice.
Train them up.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to have a slightly more novice crew next time. So, oh well, we'll see you again in the future, Hannibal. And here's what it looks like after the pile-in. So the Trigon has consolidated into this heavy weapons team. Damn it! And the Chimera. Most annoying. So, meanwhile over here, the veterans now get to strike back with 9 attacks, because the Sergeant has a base 2 attacks, and he's got a chainsword equivalent. He's actually got modelled with an axe, because he's a badass, but hey. So, hitting on 4s, that's not very good, but never mind. And
1 hit for each model left in the unit.
Yep. I think that was, yeah, okay. And then wounding on 4s, yeah. 3 wounds.
5 up saves. 3 dead.
Yes! Yes! Okay, that's the end of the turn. It's been a brutal one. They've removed the tank. They've blocked off my way forward. There's a horrible fist fight occurring here. And we've done some morale. And 1 additional guy has run from that squad up there. Luckily, these guys were fine, thanks to being near the Commissar. And the veterans, I had to do a command point re-roll to ensure that none of them ran away, but yeah, none of them have run away now. I rolled a 6 at first, which was not good, so I can't have them running away. It just wouldn't be nice. No, okay? I won't have my big Catachan armed epic veterans running away, especially when they won their combat. That would just be silly, so... Alright, that's it for Tyranids turn 3. It's going to be Guard turn 4 now, where I attempt to... yeah. I need to get out the bug spray, because we've got a bug problem in this street here, and it needs to be dealt with. So, I should point out, it's turn 4 now, I still have not got a single unit off the end of the board. It's not looking great, I must admit. It is the end of Guard turn 4 movement phase, and this is what's happened. These veterans have taken a step back out of combat with this acolyte. I'm hoping to execute him with this plasma gun here. The melter guns here have moved into range of shooting this Leman Russ, and I am going to be issuing them the get back in the fight order so that they can shoot in spite of having fallen back. That's the idea anyway. This infantry squad has moved up here, so they're now in cover and ready to put some shots into these termagants. They're going to have first rank fire, second rank fire on them as their order. I know this is the movement phase, but I might as well tell you the orders now, because that's part of the plan, you see. This heavy weapons team was shuffled back. They're also going to have get back in the fight on them as their order, and my final order is going to be on... I forget now. Oh yeah, take aim on this last cannon, thank you. So the Chimera's moved back, the Tech Priest jumped inside it, as it moved back there. The Bulgrins have moved forwards into here. They have the option of charging the Trigon or the Termagants, whichever they need to do. Bert has rejoined his ward, his commander, and they are both going to try and take on this Trigon. Basically, the whole command squad has charged forth here to try and finish it in melee if we have to. Remember, we've got the relic sword, the Sword of Conquest, which actually stands a decent chance of doing some good damage to the Trigon if necessary. So that's a thing. We've also got the Psyker out there, and the Lord Commissar as well, so it's a bit of a desperate push through these lines here. Everybody's mucking in, nobody gets to stand back on this one, except for the Tech Priest. He's just hiding inside the Chimera. This squad as well have continued flanking around this side, and they've moved up, so the Flamer is just in range of these Termagants, so they're going to be opening fire on them too. So the order of the day basically is to clear our lines, clear this road forward, and then finally hopefully get out of here with enough of us still alive for it to be a victory. That is the idea anyway, but we'll see what happens in practice. So to begin with the Psychic phase, the Primaris Psyker, he's going to be smiting the Trigon. Just gets it with a 5. You're probably going to end up denying that, so go for it. Yep.
Yep.
That was denied, so no smite for me.
Good out.
Psychic phase finished. That was nice and quick, wasn't it? So now, shooting. And I'm probably going to start with lots of small arms fire into the Gribblies. to see what we can get away. Actually, you know what? No, because I need to get rid of him first so I can work out what I've got left to fire at other stuff. So actually, big stuff at the big monster coming up next. Okay, so to start with, this last cannon with take aim as its order is going to be firing at the Trigon. So this will hit on a 4+, re-rolling everything because it's Cadian and he didn't move, and take aim is on him. So you see, that's a good thing too. All right, he missed. Good, great, fantastic. All right, so next, this heavy weapons team is going to fire at him. Now these guys will be hitting on 5s unfortunately because they fell back. They can still shoot because of the order, get back in the fight, but they do count as having moved. So last cannon hit on a 5. Nope. 2 crack missiles hitting on 5s. Nope. Okay, good. Right. What else have I got to play with? I need to have a think. I'm going to avoid the Trigon for now. I'm going to move over here with the veterans. So, plasma gun is going into this acolyte. Hopefully I can kill him. If not, I'll just probably have to charge him. The rest of these las guns will shoot at the cultists up here, and these 2 melters are going to go into the tank. So plasma gun first. 1 hit.
He's
1
dead.
wound. He is dead. Okay. That's that headache removed. Right, now I'm going to do the 2 melter guns on the Leman Russ. And they both hit. Wounding on 4s. Strength 8, toughness 8. 1 wound. -4, I don't believe you get a save, so d6 damage. Off the table. Fantastic.
Nice try. Oh!
It's the big 6.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Alright, and I'll do the las guns off camera, I think.
Next up, Bulgrin Grenadier Squad has assembled. We're going to be throwing all our frag bombs at the Trigon. I'm desperately trying to get wounds off on the Trigon at the moment because I want to be able to use overlapping fields of fire, which is a Cadian stratagem, to give the Hydra here a bonus to hit against it to cancel out the fact that he's shooting at a non-flying target. So, it's going to be 4d6 shots from the grenades, or the frag bombs. That's not bad. Alright, 15, hitting on 4+. Not bad, all things considered. That's pretty good. So now, wounding on 5s and 6s.
Yes.
The Trigon's toughness 6, right?
Yep.
So yeah. Alright, we've got 1, 2, 3 wounds.
That one's a bit cocked as well.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yep, 3 wounds.
3 saves. 3 up. Fails 1.
We took a wound
That's
off
what
it.
you
That
wanted.
was really important. So, well placed stratagem there, Grenadiers. Good. It's nice playing with an army that's got good stratagems. Cough, Space Marines, cough, cough. So now that means I can use overlapping fields of fire on the Hydra, which is going to be unloading absolutely everything at the Trigon. Okay, here we go.
The stratagem has been played, 2 command points. My last 2 command points have been spent. And the Hydra's opening fire on the Trigon, which means I'm now going to be hitting it on 4+ instead of 5+, which is definitely an improvement. It's a really good stratagem, overlapping fields of fire. It's a Cadian one. It's particularly useful for dealing with troll armies that have their sort of -1 to hits and -2s to hit on them all the time. But in this case, I'm using it to buff the Hydra. So here we go. Auto cannons, 4 ups. Oh, yes! Yes!
Reroll that 1 as well if you didn't move.
Oh, God, you're right, actually. Okay, right. So, 3s to wound, strength 7. So, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1.
5 -1s. Passed 3, failed 2.
4 damage.
4 damage down, plus the 1 it already took. So that's 7 left.
Alright. Heavy bolting out. This will hit on 3s, actually, not that it mattered. And wound on 5s. No wounds. Okay, well, that was command points well spent, I think.
Alright, we've got the Trigon down to 7 wounds. That's still more than I'd like him to have if I'm going to charge into close combat with him with a bunch of valuable characters. So, these 2 remaining stormtroopers are going to open fire first. The sergeant guy, I forget what they're called in stormtrooper squads, but Sergeant, he is going to fire his plasma pistol, and he is going to overcharge it. So here we go.
Classic.
Okay. Well, that's I don't have any command points left either, so he is just dead, slain immediately, and the flamer, D6 auto hits, 2. Wow. My stormtroopers have not pulled their weight this game. I'm not very impressed with them. All right. 1 wound.
Save.
All right. That was not what I was hoping for. So yeah, not good. Not good. I'm gonna have to have another think. And we're at the end of the shooting phase now for the guard. We've opened fire with various small arms, the las guns, flamers. The commanders chucked grenades at the termagants, and some pistols were fired as well. Basically just throwing everything with the kitchen sink at them, and we've killed a few Gribblies. Might cause them morale problems at the very least. But now it's all hands on deck to deal with this Trigon in close combat, which is not something you really want to be doing, generally speaking, but we're going to have to. So... Bert is going to be taking the Overwatch.
Okay.
So he can't fail this charge, but...
Do you want to roll it?
Yeah, go for it.
1 hit. That doesn't wound.
Okay, so...
Smashing.
He's in. Bulgrin's also in. And basically everyone else too. So Lasky's in. The Primaris Psych is in. The Lord Commissar is in.
Perkins.
And Perkins? Oh, Perkins I'm actually going to have to roll for.
Yep.
Oh yeah. He can move when he has to, you know. So, except he falls over when he gets there.
Someone told him the Trigon's got a pie.
That's just mean. Alright, so, all the characters have piled in around the Trigon. I'm going to keep calling it the wrong thing, but... Alright. Okay, I'm going to start with Bert, with his 4 attacks. And he hits on 3s. I think I knocked one of those. I think it was a miss. I think I rolled a 1 there, so I'll get rid of that. So now he's going to be wounding on 3s, because he's strength 7 with his shock maul. So, oh yeah. AP -1.
4 up saves. Pass them all.
Ah, man. Alright.
Try again.
Bulgrin's next. I need to go fetch a bunch of dice. Oh, hang on a minute. I got it wrong again. Avalanche of muscle. He gets an extra attack. Which hits. And doesn't wound. That's what you get for forgetting. Alright, let me grab up all the other dice for the rest of the Bulgrins. Okay, we've got an avalanche of dice for an avalanche of muscle. Here we go. Hitting on 3s. Man, every time... Well, actually, no, that's okay-ish. Okay, now to wound on 3s. Alright. So, that is a respectable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at -1.
6 4-ups coming right up. No. 1, 2, 3, 4 failures. It's 2 damage each, right?
Yep.
You only got 6 wounds left, so...
Is it dead?
It is dead. Does it go into the death throes?
No. Bulgrin's bashed it to bits. Hooray. And while they're at it, they'll consolidate into the termagants as well.
Makes sense.
You can try and hit them back if you like. It's up to you.
I can certainly try.
So I didn't have to get the other characters involved, which is a bit of a relief. The main thing is the Trigon's dead now, and that means he can't just straight up eat one of my characters, which he probably would have done. So because these guys all have like fairly naff 5-up refractor field saves and stuff, so that's good. And this is what it looks like after the consolidations and morale. A whole bunch of the termagants scurried back off into the ruins, into sewage pipes and all sorts, because they're not in synapse range, and that does quite a number on their morale. So they basically lost D6 guys, and Dan rolled a 6. So lots of them have run away. So that's how the battlefield looks at the end of Guard turn 4. We have more or less cleared the road ahead for the most part, but it was skin of your teeth stuff a little bit. So I took a gamble there Luckily it paid off. None of my characters have been gobbled up by a Trigon, because that could have very easily happened with the way the Bulgrins have been rolling occasionally in this game. So yeah, there we go. The way is clear. It's basically the Magos and the commanders and everybody staring down at each other like in a western down this street. It's kind of awesome. We're into turn 4 now, and the Tyranids don't have a lot left on the field, it must be said. We've repelled their assault. We've taken horrendous casualties in true Imperial Guard fashion as a result, but the crucial thing is we still don't have anyone off the board yet, or anyone even close to off the board yet. So it's going to be a question of, can I get enough stuff off the table by the end of the game to actually win? Because I need to get a third of my power level off the table for this to be considered a victory for the Guard. Otherwise it is a defeat, regardless of how many of the Tyranids are dead, really. Because frankly, even I think technically, if I did table them, I'd probably that might technically count as a win. However, as far as I'm concerned with the narrative and stuff, the Hive Mind has successfully delayed this convoy arriving on time back at the Hive City. So if I don't get enough guys off by the end of the game, even if all the Nids are dead, I'm going to still probably count that as a Nid win, frankly. So that's the score as it stands. We're now going to go into Tyranid's turn 4, and you might have to get a bit creative, Dan. There's not a lot left to use.
I've got some ideas.
Okay, here we are. This is well into the shooting phase now of Tyranid's turn 4. What's happened so far?
There's 2 units.
Two units that can shoot, but hey. The cultists have scurried off into these ruins over here. The Magos has taken cover behind this building. He's aiming to survive this fight if possible. And this Leman Russ is taking aim at these veterans over here. The Termagants have fallen back out of combat and are lining the road there. The Hive Mind's imperative beaming down at them, saying, "Hold this road," with tooth and claw. So that's exactly what they're doing. The few of them that haven't run away still at this point, they are just doing exactly as the Hive Mind bids. They are a tool, a fleshy, chitinous, buggy tool, but they're a tool nevertheless. So now, it's the Leman Russ shooting at these guys. We already did this cultist squad shooting at these guardsmen over there, and they killed one of them. Which is what we were saying earlier, it's like a little mini kill team match going on there. It's quite fun. But now it's the tank letting rip at the veterans, and I don't have any command points left, so no take cover shenanigans available to me now.
Okay, should we do the heavy bolter first?
Yep.
2 hits. 2 wounds.
Okay. 5 up save. Thanks to the ruins. No, close but no cigar, so that is 2 dead. I'll get rid of you.
Excellent.
And you.
And the battle cannon. 9 shots.
5s and 6s to hit with the battle cannon. He is down to 6 wounds, so his profile has degraded.
2 whole hits.
Wow.
And 2 wounds.
Okay, so this is -2, reduced to a -1 because of the ruins. 6 ups. 1 is saved. These veterans' luck, for the most part, continues to hold. I guess I'm going to have to get rid of the Voxcaster at this point, which is a little bit irritating, but nevertheless, it's either that or remove a Meltagun or a Plasma or the Sergeant, and that's not going to happen. So, there we go. Now, are you doing any charging?
There's a flamer in that squad.
Yes, there is.
So no.
Okay then, so morale, the veterans lost 3. 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe that's not good enough, and I think they'll lose another one, because I think their leadership's only 7. Most irritating, I might as well lose the sergeant then, because he clearly hasn't managed to make the squad hold. The sergeant's going to leg it. You coward! You coward! Alright, it's the guards, turn 5. We're at the end of the movement phase. Oh, this is what's happened. These guys are staying put in the ruins. The plasma guns moved up to remain in coherency. They're going to be shooting at this Leman Russ tank. This heavy weapons squad has moved down here, hopefully putting some shots through the ruins at the Leman Russ tank. Meanwhile, up here, the Bulgrins have moved around this way, They will hopefully charge at these cultists in the assault phase and clobber them to death, and hopefully these infantry can mow down these remaining termagants, and obviously the Chimera will help as well. Speaking of the Chimera, though, all of the characters and the command squad and the remaining stormtrooper and bird have all piled into this Chimera because they just about all fit inside. And the plan now is to they've all jumped in there. There's a lot of power level of units inside that Chimera right now, and I'm basically going to try and shoot it up that way towards the edge of the table. Now, this fellow represents a potential spanner in that being thrown into those works. We'll see. And the Hydra's moved up as well, because I'd like to get that to the end too. And yeah, this heavy weapons team's moved up too. So, and that infantry squad's moved over here, and the Flamer is going to be firing at the Magos there. Thank you. They did advance. They got a really good advance move, so they've gone 12 inches over that way. So the only one that can fire is the Flamer, but he's going to have a pop at the Magos, but probably keep running after that. Assuming the Magos doesn't charge him in its next turn and try and bash their skulls in or something. Or hypnotise them or do God goodness knows what. Gene Stealer cults, man, they're weird. Anyway, shooting phase. And there'll probably be a shooting phase summary, I imagine. Alright, it's the tail end of the guard shooting phase. The tank has been removed by the combination of the two melters and the plasma. It is gone. The plasma even overcharged and didn't die. I was a little surprised. You take notes, Stormtrooper Sergeant. Anyway, then we opened fire with the rest of it. This infantry squad here, the Chimera, the Hydra, all the rest of it, and they wiped out these cultists. And now the only Tyranid model left on the table is the sneaky, crafty Magos who planned this ambush in the first place, I imagine.
I'm an Inquisitor, honest.
Well, we're gonna shoot you with a flame anyway because we don't like the Inquisition very much as it is.
Sounds like heresy to me.
So, D6 auto hits. 2. Definitely not gonna kill him. All right.
Toughness 3 though.
1 wound.
Okay. He's got a fire up save. No, takes a wound.
And that's the end of the turn because there's nothing else for me to do. Now we need to go away and have a little think about how things could turn out here. Alright folks, it's not over yet. It's Tyranids, turn 5. The Magos has run over here and
He's going to smite.
Good.
Get rid of these filthy heretics.
I can't deny either.
Dared to burn an Inquisitor.
That's the story, just sticking to it.
Smite. 2 mortal wounds.
Alright, well I'll kill the now redundant Voxcaster and the Lasgun at the back, yeah.
Okay.
So...
and in the shooting phase I'm going to shoot you with an auto pistol.
Right.
Misses.
Right.
And then in the assault phase, do we risk it against the Flamer?
Yeah, that is the question.
Or do we just hope for the game to end?
Well...
That's a good question.
If you can kill them both, you are denying me a few power
This
that
is
potentially can get off the table very quickly.
I detect heresy. I'm going in.
Alright. Las Pistol Overwatch. No.
Flamer. This is the
Flamer.
important.
D6 auto hits. 1.
It's a wound.
It does wound.
Don't save, so I'm down to 2. But funnily enough, I make it in with an 11. I'll run several laps around and end up here.
Okay.
And then we'll have our... He's got 3 attacks. His force stave. 1 hit. It's a wound. It's -1 and D3 damage. Not that matters.
Okay. 6 up.
Nope. So
Nope.
it kills Flamer.
Yep. Leaves just the Sergeant alive. Morale?
Oh, you can find me back first.
Okay, of course I can, yeah.
If you dare.
2 hits.
Yep.
Oh, could this be the hero Sergeant?
Could he be?
That's a 5, so 1 wound.
1 wound. Fails to save. Down to 1 wound.
Oh! Oh!
Now morale's a thing.
All right, now morale. 1. No, I think the sergeant stands firm.
Nice.
The battle continues, or does it? That is the question, because it's turn 5, and now we roll to see if the battle ends, because it's random turn length. So on a roll of a 1 or a 2...
So?
Yeah, go for it. On a roll of a 1 or a 2, the battle ends, and I lose. Because I haven't got anything off the table.
It's a 1.
The Tyranids are victorious. The Magos lives. As the sun sets on this battlefield, you can imagine all the spores and everything raining down from the skies above. You can see the Hive city in the background getting bombarded from orbit as the Tyranid invasion begins proper. This convoy has been absolutely massacred, really. I mean, we massacred the guys ambushing us, but that's just more meat for the grinder as far as the Hive mind is concerned. But the survivors here, they will make it to the Hive city eventually, but they're going to be very late. They've been held up quite dramatically by this ambush, and most of the reinforcements they were bringing to the city have been destroyed. So that is that. The beginning of this Tyranid invasion has not gone well for the Imperial Guard, who are trying to desperately defend this planet. So there it is, folks. Dan, thank you awfully for coming down and playing this.
That's
this was such a cool game. And yeah, this guy over here, the mastermind of this plan, he has survived us.
This is exactly what he wanted to happen all along.
Yep. It's that was pretty cool. All right.
Too late, Imperial scum.
Yes. Cackling maniacally, I suppose. I think maybe he hypnotizes that sergeant and he walks away with him, using him as an improv bodyguard, and they leave. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.